Yo, people, today on the Law of Attraction Secrets podcast, I'm here with Marczell Klein, who is the #1 hypnotherapist in the fucking world, people. Not only that, he's a top success coach. Can I say how much you charge?
Yeah, go ahead.
He charges $1 million for what he does.
Plus equity. I won't, if it's just $1 million, I won't do it.
Wait, this is so good. Let's just go straight back. We were talking before the show. So you lot, just join our conversation today. You're a fly on the wall. Come join where we're at, because I just want to go back in and go in this like vibe. Okay, wait, so you were saying you know when someone's been cheated on or something, you can sense when every girl.
You can predict behavior. Anytime there's a shift in behavior, you can predict it because something has changed in either a positive direction or a negative direction. So you have to ask yourself, well, why did it change?
Got it.
Most people are oblivious because they have something called an optimism bias. So they want to look at the world and they say, hey, everything's fine. Because imagine you go tell your girlfriends like, oh yeah, like I'm getting cheated on. Or a guy goes and tells his friends, yeah, I'm getting cheated on. Like to come to that realization is a massive blow to confidence. And it's also a massive blow to reputation. It makes you look bad usually. So you try to avoid that perception and you're invested in the relationship. You've been in there for God knows how long. Like there's a bias. You don't want to just leave something you've been invested in. So that optimism bias prevents you from seeing things as they are. Mm-hmm. And I just try not to fall into any sunk cost bias or optimism bias ever. And I try to just look at things for what they are. In the past, you might look at things because you've been hurt. You might project those red flags on someone else. You might project, just any belief. I try to avoid the way I see things, in my own opinion, and just look at things as they are. So if there's a change in behavior, any change whatsoever, the person is less loving. Like let's say we wake up in the same bed every day. And today you decided you're not going to kiss me in the morning. Or you're just going to sleep in a little bit longer. You're not going to cuddle, or you push me away, whatever, something subtle.
I swear that was like the story of my life with my ex. Just
really?
Didn't ever want to sleep in the bed. Oh, no, don't touch me, I'm hot.
But is that normal for him?
Well, yeah, but then sometimes he would hug. Oh, look, Jesus Christ, I would never go back to like fucking that feeling.
Well, sometimes he would, but if usually he doesn't, again, well, why does he want to, right? It's what is the reason?
Probably there's sex.
There's two ways to look at behavior. From the timeline from when you first met them to whenever they change, or from their entire life. And it's like, well, why is their behavior like this in the first place? I tend to look at both. So I look at how they act around me, and I look at how they acted before me. And then I'm able to best assess and predict where they are and where they're going and what they're like and why they're changing. And if they change, you got to ask, is it because they cheated? Is it because they had a bad dream? Is it because they like me more? They like me less? Like if my girlfriend suddenly brings me breakfast in bed today after she went out with her girlfriends last night, I'm going to be pretty suspicious.
Whoa. Yo.
Or if she buys new underwear, she does her hair, she wants to get a new tattoo, especially, near her private parts.
This is all suggesting that she's doing something
well, it's suggesting that she's trying to take control over that body part, or she's trying to look prettier, she's trying to change it up. Well, did she suddenly fall in love with me? Is she suddenly, like what's changed? And I have to ask myself, like, what is the variable? And then you could see, when did the change start? Did it start just, we've been hanging out every day and it started because she woke up one day and just had a different attitude? Or she went out with her friends on a bachelorette party? I don't know. What's the change? So you have to ask yourself, when did it start? And then what are the likely reasons? And don't just jump to cheating. Like it could be cheating, it could be stress at work, it could be family problems that they're not talking about, it could be 50 different things. You just have to ask yourself, what is it? So the better you get to know someone and the more you know about their life and their situation, the easier it is to come to a decision and conclusion. And then you say, well, if this is the most likely outcome or most likely reason, like cheating, well, let's find out. And the best way to find out is, there's a lot of ways to find out. I could just look at someone's body language and tell, but one of the biggest indicators of cheating is just to talk casually like this. And let's just say the person that he's cheating on you with would be, I don't know, named Samantha. So I'll just talk to you like, hey, babe, it's so funny I have to tell you about work. This girl Samantha came in. And then all of a sudden you just see blink rate, like the rate at which you blink just shoots up, starts blinking super rapidly.
It's the same name.
Yeah, because exactly. So suddenly it just triggers a stress response. Why do you get stressed? Well, if there's no response and it's just jaded, then maybe nothing happened, So you're just kind of looking to see, where is there an emotional spike and why?
This is wild. So you said you've been able to predict when every one of your girlfriends
has ever cheated, yeah.
Yeah.
And catch them in the act.
Wait, how?
I literally just show up to where they're at and I'm like, ha,
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that something I would do? That's exactly what I love.
I just think it's funny. I find this stuff entertaining. At this point, I humor myself, but it's not every girl. It's just some girls. Like, obviously, I'm going to pick a girl who does OnlyFans. and, has problems, then not all girls who do that are like that. But, like if I pick a girl who picks this path and she's not sustaining more than everything she does is a short-term mating strategy. So her lifestyle is just, hookup culture. I can assume that the novelty will wear off after a few weeks or a month or two, and then they're going to want to go do something. But I could predict that prior. I know.
Crazy. I mean, this is such a big topic because people always want to know, like, and should they put up with cheating? Like, when somebody's cheated on, is it like, I know from first-hand experience, like, if you do that and we were together, which we were, then I'm just my zero tolerance. Like, motherfucker, I'm worth 100 bitches. Have you seen me? Like, there's a Kanye West song about this. Like, one good girl is worth 1,000 bitches. I am that woman. I own that. Like, I will walk into any party, any birthday party. I've been to 2 recently. Someone's concert, someone's birthday. And both times when the artist personally invited me, it was all just their family there. And there was about 150 people at one. And there was about 200 at another, private in their homes after the things. And why are they with me for almost the entire evening? It's an energy thing. I know I'm worth more than fucking random bitches.
Yeah, and I think that it's not really a reflection of you or your value. It's just more a reflection of the person's habits and patterns. You asked me if someone should put up with cheating. I think my answer is a bit controversial. And it's controversial for a few reasons. One, most people don't really actually know their own value, and they don't know their partner's value, like their actual value or where their value is going to be. So for instance, if you're about to be a massive actress and be in a lot of movies, as valuable as you already are, and that's superficial, but regardless, monetary, gain, even though men don't really care that much about it, popularity, but having just more confidence in general, that's going to make you more attractive, right? Having more fame might make you more attractive or less attractive depending on the guy. But the way I look at it is like, look, if you know where you're at kind of on the scale, and let's just say you're looking at a guy cheats on you. If the guy is if you're talking to Elvis and he cheats on you, what did you expect? You're talking to Elvis. Like, that's what you signed up for. You're not going to change Elvis. You're not going to change Justin Bieber. Like, there are things you sign up for and there are things you don't. The problem is most women are attracted to Elvis and they're not attracted to, the dentist. And the problem is like you go to the dentist, like, yeah, he's safe. He's not going to cheat on me, but you don't want to sleep with him and you don't find him attractive. So it's kind of like this double-edged sword. Do I want to feel fulfilled? And then you got to look at it. It's like, well, why am I more attracted to the guy who does cheat? Well, you're more attracted to that guy because your primal nature is to find the few men that mate with all the women. And the reason you pick those guys is because, let me just tell you how it's in our nature to not be monogamous. Well, if you're around the same girl long enough, what happens to your periods? They sync up. Why do they sync up? They sync up so your competition doesn't sleep with the guy when you're not able to sleep with him. So it's because your DNA pretty much knows that the male you're going to be with is going to be with many other partners. Now,
what the actual fuck?
And that's why women are more attracted to men like that. Now, if a girl goes and sleeps with someone else, a man will be significantly less attracted to her because now he doesn't know. There's not like a natural paternity test, right? So there's no way to know if I'm going to invest my resources into someone else's offspring. Now, if a woman flirts with someone else, it would bother us way less than if she sleeps with someone. If a guy sleeps with someone, it'll bother you way less than if he falls in love with someone.
Yeah.
Because both of them threaten the primal goal, which is for men, it's to have a baby and then make sure it's his. And for women, it's to make sure that, the man you're going to have a baby with is going to take care of you. Mm-hmm. So there are some evolutionary things that women have evolved to have, which is one, go sleep with like Elvis and then have the dentist take care of it, right? So have a provider take care of it. And we have different evolutionary triggers. I always say there's 3 levels of behavior. There's your instinct, like your primal nature. There's your unconscious programming. And then there's your conscious desires and goals. Oftentimes, our conscious desires and goals are, we want a really nice guy who's loyal to us, who's great, or a really great girl. But then our unconscious programming is a bit conflicted. Like maybe your brain goes, hey, I want to be strong and independent. And the guy that your, maybe primal instincts are attracted to, like the really high value guy, you're unconsciously attracted to him at the deepest level, but your programming says that guy's going to strip me of freedom, he's going to be way too controlling, so you don't want that guy. And then your conscious mind says, well, then which guy do I want? I want the safe guy, but it's kind of like just a whole bunch of conflict. Whereas if you just listen to your nature and you follow that, you'll feel the most fulfilled. But most people don't do it. One, because our culture has shifted. So culture has shifted to a much more monogamous perspective, which is fine. But even in the Bible, everyone has like 10 wives. You know, I wonder why. And why is it women get along with other women way, you know, even though there's drama and stuff, why are they more tribal and they're more kind of in the group than men? Men tend to be more, you know, lonely. It's because women are more social. They're used to that. So long story short, just to simplify the question is, you know, should you walk away from a cheater? If the person you're talking to is not valuable and they cheat on you and you're the best they could do, then absolutely. But if they cheated on you and you weren't, let's say you're withholding, let's say you're being rude, let's say you're never available, then it's reasonable to understand that someone who has high expectations and high standards in that world might cheat on you. But if you've been perfect and you're the best they can get and they cheat on you, then obviously you should leave. But people tend to filter themselves out automatically.
No, I'm definitely the best that any guy can have. I'm like, you are not having better.
Then you should walk away. But it's about the expectation. What's the expectation you set from the get-go? And also who are you going out with? And just knowing who you're going out with and not pretending that you're going out with someone who's not like that.
Oh God, so if they're in the public eye and they're a fucking rapper.
Then yeah, obviously you can assume that the guy's probably going to cheat on you, right? So it makes sense.
But I thought he was the only rapper that doesn't cheat.
I mean, yeah, it's like a pretty thing to say, but it's not true. And then you get upset. It's kind of like saying, you know, I'm really mad that I gained weight because I keep eating cheesecake every day, but like it tastes good and someone told me it was like good for me, but it's not good for you. like
oh my God, this shit's so good. Okay, let's talk about hypnotherapy. How did you get into it? Like, how did you work out that you were going to be an amazing hypnotherapist and then go to being the #1 in the world? That's pretty impressive.
So I saw my friend get hypnotized. I'm 18 years old. I was really confident, and he wasn't. He's never been with a girl before. I go to visit him at San Diego State University, and there's a hypnotist performing. I'm like, let's go look at it. He goes, nah, I don't believe in that. I'm like, bro, we have to go look. It's going to be awesome. Anyways, hypnotist calls him up on stage with like 10 other people, hypnotizes my friend. He says you're going to be super confident after like he does this ridiculous show. And he comes off stage, he walks different, he talks different, he looks different, he moves different. And the prettiest girl in this whole room, like just walks past him, there's 400 people in this auditorium, spins her around, doesn't say a word to her, and then just kisses her and takes her back to his dorm room. And I had nowhere to sleep, I had to come back home because he was just being an asshole. And he just loses his virginity, he ends up dating her, and I'm just looking at
he just becomes the coolest guy overnight.
In 5 seconds. Just the guy goes, you're confident. And I'm looking at this and I go, there's no way this has happened. I was in denial for a bit, like at least a couple weeks, maybe even a month. And then I said, well, let me just go look into this. I thought someone doing hypnosis had to have gone through psychologist and then had to go to med school to become a psychiatrist. And then after that, study hypnosis. That's what I thought. Then I'm like, wait, you can go get like a certification for this, like a year. So I'm like, that sounds way better than going to college. So I go to study it thinking I'm going to be like this guy, who was really, really skilled. And turns out there's no education to get that skill level. There's no way to learn that. So I got really frustrated very quickly, and I'm like, well, let me go figure it out. So I'd go out in the street and I'd try to hypnotize people, and it wouldn't work, and it wouldn't work, and it wouldn't work. And I'd watch YouTube videos of people doing it. Turns out all those videos are fake. I didn't know it at the time. But they were doing pretty awesome things, like paying people with paper rather than money and getting the result. And I was like, can I do this? Well, I realized they were actually using sleight of hand. They were swapping paper for money or hypnotizing the person before the video and then posting the video. I didn't realize any of that. So I went and actually found ways to get these results without faking it. And I got very good very fast. So I accidentally became the best thinking everyone else was better than me.
Wow.
And then once I became so good and my network expanded and I started to actually meet these people that I used to look up to, and I would talk to them like, oh wait, they immediately admit that it wasn't real and it's fake. And I'm like, it was very disappointing, but also very motivating. Because I was like, well, you know, if I'm this ahead, how much more ahead can I get by the end of my lifetime?
God, I'm like totally all in. I know some of the audience is going, can we do it? I almost want to do it. I almost want to do like, I know I didn't prep you on that, but like we could also do it off camera, but I want to do like, I just want to like, I'm open. I'm one of these people. I want to do it, but I'm like,
yeah,
it really works that quick. It's like a 3-second.
Yeah, it doesn't work that quick if the hypnotist isn't skilled.
Wow.
So in other words, pretty much everyone else in the world.
And you could literally go, you are now over this, or you are now this, or you are now.
So I'll give you a bit more context.
Okay.
Hypnosis, even though most hypnotists say this because they suck and they don't have the skill to get someone into this state, has depth. The deeper you go, it's like sleep, right? When you're falling asleep, like you're not just asleep. It takes time, and you're falling asleep. You're going into something deeper. That's why they use the word falling.
Got it.
So you're going
falling in love.
Yes, you're going in deeper. You're going
Yes.
deeper into your mind, deeper into your subconscious. So the deeper you go into hypnosis, the deeper inwards you're going, and eventually you go in so deep, your conscious mind disappears. So like there's no consciousness. The deepest state of hypnosis is called somnambulism. If you're watching this and you're listening, somnambulism, go look it up, means sleepwalking. So to get someone into a somnambulistic state, where someone is quite literally sleepwalking, which is the deepest state of hypnosis, to get someone there, you got to be skilled. What makes me skilled, or you can get a third of the population which goes in without any effort and then makes people look like they're really good at what they do, even though they're not. It just, they pick the best subject ever. Well, what about the rest of the population, right? Well, to get everyone else in to that state very, very fast, you have to be very, very skilled. And there's a few things you have to do. One, you have to be fast, you have to be efficient, and you have to be confusing as fuck. And I'm very good at all of the above. And I understand the dynamics, I understand the overwhelm, and there's windows where you can go right there, and then there's other windows which just, you have to climb a mountain. Most people aren't able to perceive what the right timing is to hypnotize someone.
Wow.
So you got to create the window or create the timing or find the timing. So what makes me so talented is I can very quickly get someone into that state. And then in that state, yeah, you could say, you're over your ex, you hate your ex, you're in love with this, you love that water bottle, you're a man. You know, I could say whatever the fuck I want.
Whoa.
And the people you're seeing that do fall into those patterns where they suddenly become a man or whatever, it's just because they're literally in the top 1% of hypnotic subjects, where you can just literally say something in the media and they're like, whoa, and then they become that.
Whoa.
So it's just interesting that if you look at things through the world of hypnosis, it affects everything. But no one wants to say it because they're like, oh, it's taboo. Well, if it was so taboo, why did the government spend $250 million on it? And why was there a psychological arms race along with a nuclear arms race against Russia? Why did Russia spend over $1 billion on studying it? Why was it top secret for the longest time? Why is it that suddenly they were so interested in controlling psychology? Why is everything a psyop? Why is everything that the government trying to do is control information and knowledge that goes into our minds? Why is there censorship? Well, maybe because their number one power is influence and influencing people. So, you know, people are like, oh, this isn't important. It's just ironic because your lack of awareness about it is what stops you from actually seeing reality. And I think a lot of people are just delusional. They'd rather be in a trance and walk around as if they know everything and everything is exactly how it should be when in fact, you're just constantly being brainwashed. And you're either being brainwashed to get what you want or you're being brainwashed to get what you don't want. You're either being brainwashed to feel what you want to feel or you're being brainwashed to feel what you don't want to feel. And the reason you fall in love with the wrong guys is because there's a part of you that resonates with those guys.
So how do I break that cycle?
Well, you have to ask yourself, what does that guy give me that I don't get somewhere else? Is it novelty? Is it excitement? What is it?
Yeah.
Because you probably are following a short-term mating strategy.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I love excitement. I'm obsessed with falling in love.
So how do you get that same excitement of falling in love with a guy in a long-term relationship? The only way you'll have that is in a toxic relationship where he's constantly pulling away, giving back, pulling away, giving
that's what
back.
I just had.
And that's the only way you're going to stay. That's the only way to keep a girl like you. So
Yeah.
it's not him, it's you. That's
Oh
the problem.
fuck! So I have to change and go. No, I don't want toxicity anymore.
Well, it's not just I don't want toxicity. It's what's the insecurity inside of me, and what's the what's the positive response? Like, why am I programmed to feel this way? Well, it's because deep down you're constantly testing to see if the guy's good enough. So if you're falling in love, he's on a pedestal, then he starts to fall off the pedestal. The only way he gets back on the pedestal is what? Putting you down, and then you could fall for him again. And the way he has to put you down because you start probably doing things out of alignment with him. And then he's like pushing you away. So you're looking at how good you are, but you're also not looking at your habits. So you have a blind spot.
And then you have to overcome your habits and go, I have to change at the core. I have to look at me. I have to go, why am I behaving like this?
What am I doing that's causing this result? So I'll give you an example. There's a few, I generically speaking, even though it's not as generic as this or black and white as this, there's like 4 archetypes of guys. There's an ugly guy and a good looking guy, and both could be either rich or broke. So you have a broke, good looking guy and a broke, ugly guy. Broke, ugly guy ain't getting girls. Unless he's very, very charismatic. Like very, very charismatic or has some kind of like popularity or social influence or like clout. Right? Some currency that's of value.
Mr. Beast.
Yeah, sure. But he's got some value, right?
He's got tremendous value.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he's actually
Well, he's not broke though.
that hot.
Yeah.
Oh shit, he's not broke, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not broke. And he's highly intelligent, highly strategic.
Bad example. He's a great catch for someone, yeah.
Yeah, so not attractive, and then attractive but both broke. Then you have rich, not attractive, and rich, really attractive.
Yeah.
The rich, not attractive guy usually will do anything. He's kind of like a Romeo is the name of the archetype. And the Romeo will try and do everything. He'll try and pretty much buy his girlfriend. Okay, he'll buy you a car, buy you a purse, buy you a bag, give you the lifestyle. Because he just understands that he's not physically attractive, but he'll do his best. Like another version of what falls into the Romeo might be like an older, like 55-year-old with like a sugar baby or something. Then you have a playboy. Playboy is rich, good looking, charismatic, is used to the finer things in life, has a very, very exquisite taste in certain lifestyle. And if he's it's unlikely for him to settle with one girl, but if he does settle with one girl, the expectation is that it's a full-time job. Like if you're expected to never work again and have a great lifestyle and be with the most attractive guy you could possibly be with, well, then you should definitely decide, hey, I'm not just gonna sit here and chill the rest of my life. Like you have to realize that the standard and expectations to keep a guy like that is going to be, hey, I gotta dedicate my entire life to his needs.
Whoa.
And even if I selfishly don't wanna act that way, when you're around him, you should, if you wanna keep him. And most women can't do that. So like a problem me and my friends have, and I have really good looking, really rich friends, some of them being really, really famous. A lot of celebrities are single for this problem, is you'll meet a girl, and assuming like, you get past the superficial stages, whatever, the second you start dating her, the second you put a ring on, or the second you get married, she starts withholding sex. She starts deciding she's not interested. And it's like, well, a guy like that doesn't value sex. He can have sex with every girl he wants. So like, what are you trying to leverage over him? You're like, oh, you're trying to like hold back some need. It's like in 2 seconds, you've just gotten replaced. So that guy's very rare, but that's the most attractive archetype to the majority, not all women, but to the majority of women. Some women don't prefer that. Some women prefer a safer guy or a guy who's less, got less going on because it gives them more security. But
this is so fucking good. This is so good. This is so needed today. Who thought that we would go through this amazing topic? Because people ask this all the time. It's
really? Yeah. I mean, I have a pretty deep understanding of social dynamics, dating.
I can see that. Are you with someone?
No, I'm single.
I love that. Okay, go to the next archetype.
Yeah, well, so then the next one would be you got a really good looking guy, but he's broke. That guy is just trying to fuck. Like, he's not trying to get a girlfriend. He's probably dedicating all his time to getting women.
This is so nuts. I'm literally seeing the people. I'm compartmentalizing and I'm like, oh my God, I've got my Playboy friend who's like fucking wealthy.
And good looking, and he has everyone around his finger.
And he's never been able to hold a relationship down.
Well, one, because the girl probably doesn't meet his standards. And two,
that's what he said.
There's a second problem, and it's that the girls that would theoretically meet his standards don't believe that they're good enough for him and sabotage it. And they'll sabotage it by either getting with someone else, which then automatically ruins your chances with a guy with that standard, or they won't even try because they're like, I'm just gonna get hurt. So it's very, very hard when you're there. That's actually, that guy, as successful as he is, and although he's not settling, he didn't get there because he's shallow. He got there because he probably, not all of them, but some of them are shallow.
Yeah.
But some of them do crave a deeper fulfillment, and they can't achieve it because there's no one that understands them.
Wow. So the guy who's the safest is if you want to go for something amazing, is like the not attractive but wealthy guy?
Safest. But that guy, the second another hot girl comes in, will cheat on you.
Whoa, really?
That guy's going to cheat on you. The Playboy, if he picks you, he's not cheating on you. And the reason he's not cheating on you is because he could have been with you and 10 other girls without ever committing to you. So the fact that he committed to you means he just wants to be with you.
Wow. Okay, this is so crazy. Okay, what are the other two?
Well, then you have the broke, good-looking guy.
His time looking for pussy.
He's just looking for pussy. He's super shallow. It's like a frat bro. That's a frat bro.
Fuck that. Don't fucking come near me if you are broke and good-looking. Fuck you. I'm not interested.
Yeah, so that's like a one-night stand guy. Like, that's the guy girls don't care about. That's
the fucking, what do you call it? Fuck boys.
That's the fuck boys. But that guy, so here's the thing.
Don't come near me if you're a fuck boy.
But so women, let's say, we'll call him fuck boy, right? Let's just say that guy right there, though, what women do with that guy actually ruins their chances with the rich version of that guy.
Oh.
And the reason is because they'll go, let's say, have a threesome with that guy. They'll go be promiscuous with that guy. They'll go have fun with that guy.
And he's best friends with the other one.
No, then they go meet the Playboy, who's way smarter than this guy. That's why he got more successful, and he's way more successful.
The same behavior.
No, they do the opposite. They pretend they don't do that. But he's like, yo, I have all of that. I have threesomes. I have everything I want. Right, that guy right there. The rich guy, the Playboy, exactly. He has everything he wants. So the girl who he can easily identify her behavior. He understands who she is. She pretends like she's Mother Teresa. And he's like, well, at the minimum, like you're sleeping with a guy who's way less valuable than me in 2 seconds, and with me you're holding back because you're insecure. he's just going to say, you're not even meeting my basic needs. You're not even able to keep me, you're not able to keep my attention for more than even a minute.
So my girlfriend, she was like, how do I marry a billionaire? Because I married someone very well for my first husband who...
You sleep with him on the first night.
Really?
If you want to marry a billionaire, you make him like you right away, you sleep with him right away.
Really?
You're not closed off, you're not bitchy, you're super loving, you're super caring.
She nailed it. She fucking gives him threesomes all the time. She does everything for him. She dedicated her life to
there's
him.
literally no reason for him to go elsewhere because she doesn't take anything away, she only adds value.
So fucking a billionaire who's good looking, the playboy, on a first night is no problem.
The only time fucking a guy on the first night's a problem is when the guy's not used to fucking girls on the first night.
Got it.
And if the guy's used to fucking girls on the first night, right, and you fuck him the first night, he's like, oh, you're just a whore, he's also probably not that smart. Like, why would you classically condition a girl to not give you what you want? Why would you tell a girl, hey, you gave me what I want, time to punish you? The more a girl gives me, the more I'm gonna reward her.
Yeah.
Right? So same thing happens in everyday life. Like, it's like men are like, oh, like all these podcasts, these red pill podcasts. They talk shit about these red pill podcasts where these guys sit there and they just make fun of women.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's like, what are you doing, dumbass? Like, first of all, the only reason you're making fun of them...
Because you want them.
Well, it's because you're insecure, you can't have them, you're trying to put them down. It's like, bro, all you really want, you wouldn't dedicate your whole life to a podcast about women if you didn't value women this way.
Oh, God.
And instead of trying to change the women, they're not changing. It's like, just change yourself and a girl will change for you. If a girl likes you, she's gonna mold into your frame. The problem is all these guys are like, you need to change. You need to stop doing OnlyFans. You need to do this. If all guys just got way more attractive and they just decided not to pick those girls would say, well, maybe it's not working anymore. Maybe I shouldn't do this. But instead, they're like, oh yeah, you're doing this. And then they keep paying the girls and they keep perpetuating the problem. The same guy who's making fun of her is the same guy paying for her subscription. You know, it's like, you're making fun of her because you on the back end want her. And you're just trying to like confuse everyone. It's all a mask.
I know it is. It's fucking crazy. Okay, so who's the safe guy to go for?
Safe guy, if you're hot and you're willing to dedicate your whole life and you make him fall in love with you, is a playboy. But you have to be patient and you have to prove yourself to him. You can't just be like, he's not dating me after one time. Yeah, no shit. Because you and 18 other women are talking at the same time. Well, guess what? All 18 other women are going to do exactly what all of them do, and they're going to all ruin it, and they're all going to fuck it up. They're not going to be available when he wants them, because there's going to be moments where he's like, you know what? I hit up 10 girls today, and they all said no. And there's going to be one that shows up, and she's going to be the best time and the best vibe, and then she shows up again, and she's competing for his attention, not the other way around. Women are like, oh, men chase me. Yeah. Ugly, broke men chase you. Ugly, rich men maybe chase some of you. Maybe the fuckboy kind of chases you. That guy doesn't chase you. The playboy does not chase anybody.
No.
But that's like the prize.
So if you want to win with the playboy, you have to do like I do and put in. And I'm saying like you should see what I do every morning.
It is a full-time job.
Yes, it's a fucking full-time job. I have to compartmentalize it. I'm like, here's my morning slot and my afternoon texting time with this person. Literally, like if I want to start getting into somebody, like when I was single and I was wanting to get into a particular person, I would literally send them every single day the dopest motivational message. Baby, thinking of you. Like, here's a message to empower your day. No bitch is going to fucking do 365 of those a year.
And also be available whenever he wants. Like if he wants to, like I'll give you an example. I bought tickets to go to Dallas last night at 2. If I had a girlfriend and she goes, I have to go into work today.
Right.
Well, you know, like I'm not.
But don't you like the chase? Don't you like when the girl says, actually, I'm not available today?
I mean, then another girl will be. And then
so you kind of go into the Playboy box.
Well, I'm for sure Playboy. But I wasn't. I was the ugly broke guy. And then I got good looking because I lost a lot of weight and I became more attractive, more confident. Yeah. And then I became the good looking broke guy. And then.
So you were the fuckboy.
Well, I went from not being the fuckboy
into elevating.
And then I became the fuckboy, but that's only because women rewarded the behavior.
Wow.
Suddenly, because all the girls that I liked only went and got with these guys. Like I chased a girl for 6 months and then she just go fuck a guy. And I'm like, weren't you talking to me like 8 hours a day? Like, what's going on here?
Wow.
So I'm like, well, that didn't work. So obviously what I was taught was wrong. And then what I found out is like the perfect combination for what a girl wants. Because most women don't categorize it this way. They categorize it into one of two things. Provider or guy they like. Not both. Provider is safe. I'll have family and kids with him.
That's what I just did. My previous husband was the safe guy, wealthy.
Yeah, but you literally
very
are
good
bored.
looking,
You're not
kind.
attracted. You barely want to sleep with him. You get frustrated.
Even
You
though
get
he was
annoyed.
beautiful.
Yeah, but
I
you're not attracted to looks. Looks are just the beginning. You're attracted to confidence.
sus. I call it sus. Like,
Yeah.
have you got sus?
Well, game. You just have to
Game.
understand dynamics. Most guys they're just like, yes, no. You got to be attractive. You got to be charismatic. But that's very difficult to have.
Yes.
You need a guy who's experienced with women to understand how women feel, right? Anyways, point is you have that safe guy, and then you have the fuck boy or like the pop star or the rock star. These are the top of the chain here, right? Well, that guy's the most attractive. You want to sleep with him. Like just thinking about him turns you on, but he's got no security. He's not going to sit there and raise your baby for you. So women are, when they're younger, go for this. When they get older, they go for this, but they're never fulfilled in either one. So to find a guy who can be both, when what women will do is take this guy who's safe and try and make him that. Oh, let me change his style. Let me do this. And over time, they just resent him because he's just not that. Or they try to take this guy and they're constantly miserable because he just doesn't want to doesn't want to be with them. Like, why does he love me? Why is he with that girl? And they sit there obsessing over who's he with. It's a waste of mental capital. Why not just find the guy who can be both? But to find the guy who's both, women can't conceptualize it. Like in their mind, they see a playboy, they're like, oh, he's a safe guy. It's like, what do you mean safe guy? Like I think you got, it's either he's the wrong, they categorize it incorrectly. It's either he's a safe guy or he's the pop star. They can't see, oh, how do I get the guy to commit? So they'll sleep with him, but they're not going to like him, or they won't sleep with him because they like him and play a shit ton of games, but then they lose him because they wasted time. They're wasting opportunity. So it's really understanding how do you fight. Like, I'm assuming every guy here that's listening is going to want to be the best version of themselves. So if the guy wants to level up, and by the way, as attractive as a girl might think a guy is, like if you're fat and you're overweight, if you just got in better shape and you become healthier, even if you're not that tall, you could still be relatively attractive to a woman if you're just healthy. And if you're very charismatic and confident and you have nice teeth, you're automatically like a 7.5, 8. Like automatically gonna be more attractive. But guys don't think about it that way. So they're like, oh, I'm just not attractive. It's like, that's not at all true. Like it's not true at all. I was fat. I've coached people who are 4'11", guys 4'11", and they were supermodels. Because it's about the emotions you invoke. I can make someone fall in love with a water bottle. Like I understand perception. Point being though, there's primal triggers that tell you to go for this or this. And most of the time, we don't consciously decide, hey, let me actually think about the person I'm talking to. Like, what can this person have? What does this person need? What can I do to then make this person more attractive to me? Men tend to go through this process way more than women. Because women have it easy. Like guys are constantly in your DMs, they're constantly hitting on you, they're constantly asking you out. Men, on the other hand, don't have that abundance. They did a study on Tinder. They took the most attractive guy that 100 women pretty much voted for. And then they took the ugliest girl that 100 guys all said is the ugliest girl. She got 10 times the amount of matches as the most attractive guy. So it's just women have way more abundance regardless. Doesn't matter how attractive you are, there's always going to be more abundance in terms of demand. But doesn't mean the guy's going to stay with you. So point is how do you sit there and go, how do I get a guy to want to stay with me? Because the guy's going to decide if he's staying with you at the beginning, not at the end, especially if he's high value. If a guy meets you and he decides he's staying with you from the beginning. Like I know right away if this is a girl I can date. All a girl can do, like if I'm going out and I'm going to hook up with a girl, there's a very high chance she could date me. But she obviously will just mess it up. So they can only ruin it, not by sleeping with me, but by taking away things that I need, making me feel bad, not making things enjoyable, starting to just say things that are obviously, like don't talk about the guys you've been with, don't do things that shift focus. Like your job is to keep the guy present, make him enjoy every moment, smell good, brush your teeth, put in effort. Like a lot of girls will be like, oh, I'm just gonna come in sweats and like a hoodie. It's like, cool, did you do your makeup? Did you do your hair? It's like if you're not even gonna tick the box of physical attraction, you're not gonna keep the guy. Girls just don't put effort. It's like you date a guy who's really high value and then you stop putting on makeup. Or you stop looking pretty. Then you break up and you go look pretty again. It's like, what
happened there? Okay, so as a woman, if we want to be really high value to a man, what are those key components?
Always look pretty.
Yeah.
Like, actually, always be physically attractive. Second thing is, actually put in effort. Stop expecting the guy to chase all the time. You want a rich guy? He's busy. He's working. He's providing. Like, if you're never going to have to work another day in your life, you're not going to have to worry about anything. He wants a woman who's going to take care of his kids and who's going to take care of him. And if you can do that, whatever that means for that guy, and you're available, like full time, doesn't matter what time of the day, he's gonna marry you. But women want to be taken care of, and their idea of it is, I want to act like a little kid. Like I want him to take care of me, pay for me, and take care of me, and I don't have to do shit. It's like, what's the most I can get for the least amount of effort? That's the wrong mentality. Because that's going to get you a guy who settles for that. You're getting a guy who's settling. If you want to get the best, you got to act like the best. Which isn't that hard, but it's hard to when your ego is in the way and it's like, well, all my friends say I shouldn't do that. Well, all your friends are fucking single.
Yeah,
So,
literally. And I'm like, you're an average of the 5 people you're around. So if you are asking advice from the fucking guy who has 6 baby moms, okay, or you're asking a guy who's got a fucking failed marriage currently and they're deeply unhappy and they aren't living the life that you want to live, bitch, get the fuck away. Stop asking these people questions.
And then, well, you might argue like, hey, Marcell, you're single. Yeah, I'm single because I'm not trying to go into this. But there's a statistic, right? 50% of marriages end in divorce. 75% of those divorces are initiated by women because women pick the guy that they didn't like in the first place. Oh, I picked the safe guy, but then I don't want to be with him anymore. Well, what are you doing? You know? So I really think that if society were to say, hey, how do I actually understand what we each need? Because we're always taught what men should do. What should women do? Right? Well, we used to teach that. We used to teach that. We don't teach that anymore. Like, if you tell a girl, hey, I'd like you to cook or clean for me, apparently it's controversial. Well, first of all, I have a chef. I have a maid. I don't need a girl to cook or clean for me. But if a girl comes in and she cooks better than my chef, and she cleans better than my maid, and she makes my life better, and suddenly I'm like, wait a second, I can rely on this girl for more, my life is good. But when she's, like, she doesn't have to cook, or she doesn't have to clean, I'd rather she spend time with me, but I'm working sometimes. But just a generic example for some other guys who don't have a maid, who don't have a chef, right? I don't know how to cook. I don't know how to do laundry. My maid does fuck up like half my clothes.
It's a fucking nightmare. So they don't understand cashmere.
Yeah.
I'm like, read the fucking label. It's hand wash.
They just shrink everything, right?
No, we have you have no idea.
So the point is like, if a girl's able to come into my life, and she's, first of all, not expecting anything. She's super appreciative. She's super grateful. Like think of it in the lens of adding value or taking value. Am I adding value here? Or am I taking value away? So if he has to work harder, if he has to do extra things, take away from what he's already doing to be with me, you're not going to keep him. But if he has to do less because I'm taking things off of his plate and I'm making him feel better and he's performing better, then he's going to stay with you.
So, okay, you go into the house of someone and they've got, I'm just going to be like the girl who's going in, okay? So she walks in. She's now, because I'm sure someone in the audience is going to ask this. So she's going into the house and he's got a maid and a chef. How does she add value?
Well, if he has a maid and a chef, then what does he want? Like, he wants someone what? Like, I have a maid and a chef because I don't want to waste time. I value time.
Same, I get it.
So I want the luxury of just having everything available.
Yeah.
So I want probably the same thing in my relationship. Like, I want things to be available. I'm not just talking about like, hey, I want to sleep with you right now. I'm talking about like emotional needs. Like, I want to spend time with you. That's someone who probably values quality time.
Do cute things for them in the house. Do something that makes them feel like
just be available, and whenever he comes to you, you're happy. Like, your only job is just to be a bundle of joy.
I know. I literally tell you this. So it's so funny. People when they watch me on FaceTime, okay, I will literally put the phone on, and when they watch me on FaceTime, I'm like, hey, and this is after years of being with someone, and I'm like, hey baby, how are you? And they're just like, wow. I'm like, you're amazing. I love you. I'm so on it. Like, I give. I'm a lover girl, man. I give.
And you should be on it all the time. You should always be present. But also, I'll give you an example. I called a girl like a month and a half ago, and it was like 9 p.m. I just had finished work. Like, I finished a 13-hour seminar. It was my 3rd day. Voice is wrecked. What would be really nice is like, hey, a girl comes over, like, you relax, you don't have to think about anything, you fall asleep. Well, I call her. This is, at the time, it was the only girl I was talking to. And she's like, yeah, I'm in bed. Like, if I come, I have to wash my hair and all this. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, never mind then. Don't come. Like, my bad.
Whoa.
Like, my bad. You have to shower, Like,
yeah.
But then I stopped talking to her.
But hang on. The problem is, when you first date somebody and they're wealthy, okay, so the guy's wealthy and he's like the playboy archetype, and she's just dating him and he's wanting to see her, because she's not yet feeling the rewards of the relationship that he has, the chef and the things, she still has to cook for herself. She still has to clean for herself.
For sure.
So she doesn't see the long-term fulfillment. She just sees instant gratification, and that's why they fuck up early on. Cause I have to do my hair,
or I'm going out tonight with, I'll give you another example. This girl, I'm like, hey, let's get dinner. She goes, oh, I can't. I'm like, why not? She's like, oh, I'm going out to dinner, tonight with like a couple friends. Well, she didn't realize one of my clients is a celebrity. So she's going to dinner with a celebrity. And I know this because the celebrity had been asking me all day for advice about this one girl he's going out with and sent me pictures of the girl I'm talking to.
Fucking
I swear to God.
Such a small world.
Yeah,
fucking LA.
So I thought it was hysterical, right? And I'm talking to her, I'm like, oh, what are you doing tonight? You know, just test the waters. And she's like, oh, I'm going to dinner. I'm like, oh, I want to go to dinner with you. She goes, no, I can't. I'm going with a celebrity or whatever. Or like, not celebrity, I'm going out with his friends. So the next day, you know, I had him come over anyways. It was scheduled. And I take a selfie. And I take a selfie and I go, how was your date? And I just tell him that, like, the situation, and I use it as a lesson. I tell him, like, look, let me explain to you some dynamics here, right? And he's like, okay, because I was really just teaching him, like, about all of it, and he obviously understood. And he had told me what had happened. She had a threesome with him and all this other stuff.
That night.
Yeah, that night with her friend. And I was
loose bitch.
No, I was just listening to it, and I thought it was hysterical. Like, I was laughing. I was proud of him because
I just hope that this
was his first time.
not someone that I was dating.
No, maybe. I have no idea. I have no idea. So, long story short, though, you know, she doesn't know that I'm with him, or I'm talking to him or anything. And she calls me next day. She's like, "Hey, how are you? Yeah, you know, we had an easy night, whatever. You know, just lying." And I'm just listening to it. And again, the reason I listen to it is because it's creating like a psychological profile for me for when I don't have a client at that dinner who happened to be with a girl, and I could see the habits. But again, it's like, she does like me. She probably would want to date me. She probably was feeling something for me. But short-term gratification, short-term mating strategy took over. But that's because she miscategorized me and didn't realize, like, he's learning to be this way from me.
Whoa.
You know, like, so it's like, it's just...
That's crazy. So what ended, this is last night?
No, this is like a month and a half ago.
What happened after that? Did he go with her in the end? No.
No, of course not. But
because he's a playboy too.
Well, no, I mean, he's not serious. He just didn't want her. Like, she's not worth dating.
She's not serious either.
Well, she's not serious, exactly. Well, she is serious. She thinks she's serious.
But she had sex on the first night. I thought that was sometimes a good thing.
Well, sex on the first night with him.
And he's not.
Well, but a threesome on the first night is not a good thing.
No.
No, he has to earn the threesome. Like, that's not...
Just that. This is so funny.
Yeah, you're like, because if you're going for a threesome on the first night, you just set a different expectation. Now he's dating both of you.
Yeah.
Now you want to have two.
Lord, if you're having a threesome, it's your fucking birthday after 5 years. Like, I'm not even doing that. I'm not even fucking like that. I mean, it's like, most guys I date would be like, no, I don't even want a threesome because you're a fucking psycho enough.
Yeah,
like,
you should probably date a guy who doesn't want that.
No,
to be honest, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's just not beneficial for the longevity of the relationship.
I was with someone like that, but he went and did them on his own.
If he's gonna do it anyways, and you pick that guy, then
do it together. But then he just went and did it. He said he didn't want it with me, and then went and did it.
Probably because you have an attitude or like aren't as fun.
That's so funny.
Or are ruining it. Or like girls will be like, okay, we'll do it. He'll bring a girl that he's liked and wanted to sleep with for like a year. And then the girl...
Fuck that.
And then, well, I'm just saying, and then the girl will just ruin it and make it not happen. And he's like, fuck it, I'll go fuck her on the side.
Oh my God, so awful. This is just so real. Nails down the fucking table.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Let's just talk about success for a minute. Because like, I could talk to you for fucking... This entire episode is so good, but something you're amazing at is helping companies multiply their business.
Yeah, whether you want to make more money in general, whether it's a company or you, there are two things you could do immediately. First thing is, one, you have to have awareness. Like anything you're not getting a result in, dating, health, there's a lack of awareness in. Money's the same. If I'm not making the money I want to make, there's something wrong. Is it my marketing? Is it my sales? Is it my product? What is the reason I'm not making the money? Usually, it's one, because the relationship people have with money is usually pretty poor. So they put money on a pedestal and they think it's really hard to make, and they project their current lifestyle, which is the fact that maybe most people don't have a lot of money. They project that belief onto the world and they go, well, then the person I'm asking money for is not going to be able to pay for it. Well, you're not, like, you have two options. You could charge a broke audience or you could target a rich audience. I target rich audiences. So the richer someone is, the more they probably know about me, right? And the broker someone is, the more like, who's that? Right? So
I would say to people, I'm like, if you want my private coaching and my top level stuff, because I have a membership program which is available to everyone and anyone. So I'm known by both audiences. But my rich clientele, my celebrities, and not all celebrities are that wealthy, my entrepreneur audience, it's like the same thing. They know who I am and what I'm going to do for their life.
You're also real, right? And that resonates with the higher up you are in success, you usually have to be really real.
Like you, we're exceptionally real. I'm so unapologetic as fuck about who I am.
I don't give a fuck. Like I will tell people, like if I have an opinion, it's my opinion. I don't really care. Because my opinion's pretty well thought out.
Yeah.
And it's probably right.
Very bright.
And there's usually, it's not, if I don't know, I'll say I don't know.
So what was the other thing you said? So the one thing is...
So have a better relationship with money.
Yeah.
And then have a better work ethic. You think you're working hard and you're not. You're spending time working on your website or your logo, and you're working on things that don't make you money. So of course you're not going to scale. Like most people spend their time arguing with their staff or telling someone what to do or trying to figure out and complaining. That's not moving the needle. Like a business should be unemotional, should be completely black and white. What moves the needle? What do I need to do? What do I need to delegate? What do they need to do? And then the numbers don't lie. Like everything is measured. Like there's not a single action in my company that's not measured. Lunchtime is measured. Like how long were you at lunch? Did your performance dip after? Performance always dips after lunch. Why? Glucose levels rise. So I understand that. So I push lunch out till the end of the day. And I have a culture of fasting. I'll fast with you guys. We all fast. Eat later. It's better. People just feel better. They're sharper. They make more money. So it's just simple optimizations and tweaks. Also internally, sometimes the CEO or whatever feels like their mindset's off, their energy levels are off. Go get a blood panel. Go look at the vitamins in your blood. You might just have a lack of vitamin B12 or a lack of vitamin D, or you might not have, whatever. Like something's affecting you.
Biohacking?
I think one of the biggest biohacking companies in the whole world, my client just sold. Just to give you perspective, because he has an autoimmune disease. Now, what I can tell you is there are 3 things that control the way we feel. Our focus, the stuff we tell ourselves, like the voice in our head, and our physiology. The one thing we have the least awareness in, usually, is our physiology. I know what I'm focused on. I can see it. I see it in my head. I see the pictures in my head. I know what I'm saying to myself. But do I really know how my lack of sleep, my dehydration, my lack of electrolytes, my lack of the sun, because I'm inside all day, I'm not getting vitamin D. If you don't have vitamin D, you're depressed. And you're anxious and you're tired. If you have too much of it, you're depressed. You're anxious, you're tired. So it's just... People don't know, like if we're constantly measuring everything in our life, like you're not driving a car without checking your gas, right? Like would you feel confident driving somewhere far without knowing how much gas in your car? No. Well, how are you gonna go through life and not even know what levels your absolute basic needs are at? Like my raw material, my vitamins in my body, like my blood levels. Like how would you go about your day not knowing where that's at? Most people...
They do. They just coast through life and don't know.
But if you just look at your blood and you constantly update your blood, it's a couple $100, probably the best money you'll ever spend, right?
And then you know what supplements to take. And it's not just like,
exactly.
I see people walking in the supermarket and like, I'll get vitamin C, and vitamin D,
exactly.
and vitamin E. And I'm like, well done. And why are you getting that? And they're like, oh, because it's really good for you. And I'm like, for the world. You specifically have a blood type which needs right now, specifically you to not eat broccoli because your microbiome doesn't digest it. I mean, we talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
I love it. I adhere to it.
That's awesome. I had no idea you guys talk about it. But yeah, pretty much.
We're massive, but like Dave Asprey in my show when he came on the episode, it's to date the one clip of him talking about whether brown rice or white rice is better. It's pinned on his page and mine. We've had 27 million views on it.
And here's my opinion on all of it. Yeah. I think people do everything wrong. Oh, you started a diet, it didn't work for you. You did it wrong. You didn't feel good. You did it wrong. People there's just no awareness whatsoever in their behavior. And that's the biggest reason people don't succeed. It's because they think they tried it correctly and they didn't. If you get into a stick shift car and you don't know how to drive a stick, I don't care how many times you try, unless you do it correctly, you're not gonna move the fucking car. Same thing if I know how to drive it, doesn't matter what stick shift car you put me in, I'm driving it the first time. Sales, making money, health, all of it's the same skill. If you can do it, you do it on day one. If you can't do it, you can't do it on day one. If I hire someone to sell for me, if they don't make sales on day one, they're fired. Because if they can't close on day one, they're not selling on day two. I'm not here to hire someone I need to coach. I'm here to hire someone who's already there.
I literally feel the same about stuff. I'm like, okay, do you know how to just use Gmail, like for like basic shit? And then they try and log in and then they take 30 minutes, by which time I'm already off the fucking phone, but my other assistant is dealing with you for 30 minutes trying to get you to log in. You're so out the company. You haven't even fucking got in the company because you couldn't even log into my fucking Gmail.
Well, it's literally day one or not. And I think a lot of people, it's like, if you're not getting the result, you're doing it wrong.
You're so similar. I feel like a fucking shit would be like...
I like it. I'll tell you one more thing for your audience if they really want to make a massive change. And this is where my expertise comes in. If you're not programmed for success unconsciously, success is impossible. If you're programmed for it, success is inevitable. And what I always tell people is no matter how hard you work at the relationship, no matter how bad you want to get a six-pack or you want to make a shit ton of money, if you don't have it in your head to get it done, it'll never happen. If you do, suddenly you have awareness on everything you're doing wrong. Suddenly all the information you've been looking for, all the answers show up right in front of you. Well, that's because you were programmed to have the answers. Those people who get there, see, like I have friends who make a lot of money, way more money than me, and I make a lot of money, but my friends make a lot more money than me. It almost seems like they do nothing. They're just sitting there and money falls in their lap. And there are times where I feel that way too. And then you look at someone who's seemingly, perceptually working nonstop, and they could barely make the bill, like for $3,000 a month. And I sit there, I go, how are you not?
Yeah.
I don't understand. If I spend 20 minutes of my time, I've made your annual salary.
Yeah.
Like if I just focus for 20 minutes. So I just don't understand. And I do understand, but you look at it, it's like, you might be sitting there, you're like, well, so what's the solution, Marczell? Like, solution is you've got to change your programming. Because right now, it doesn't matter how much, I could give you the blueprint, and someone will be like, that's not true, it won't work for me, blah, blah, blah. If your brain's not programmed for it, it'll reject it, ignore it, delete it, forget about it, it might sound good in the moment, and then it's gone. So if you don't just change the way you think, you can't even receive the information.
So true. You have to reprogram your entire mindset, your subconscious mind. And you were saying that's what you teach on. You go in and you show people persuasion. You show people skill sets. You go in and you up their annual whatever it is.
When I work with someone one-on-one, the reason they hire me is because they want to exit their company, or they want to raise capital for their company, or they want to improve their company. I don't just program their brain so against their will they go improve. Like if you want to get in the best shape of your life and you come to me, it'll be you'll be like, I'm not going to the gym today, and somehow you end up in the gym against your will. Like that's what I do. I program someone so no matter what happens, they never derail. Impossible.
Wow.
Right? And that's very, very few people in the world can do that. Actually, I think I'm the only one who can do it at that level.
Wow.
Well, the second thing I do is I show you how to walk in a room with investors, or you want to have a meeting with someone, and sometimes you only get like one meeting. You get one chance, whether it's a massive government contract like a congressman, or you're talking to someone really wealthy, they want a private equity firm that you've been literally hoping they buy your company. Well, when you walk in, how do you guarantee that they buy it? Well, there's ways to do it. There's a way to walk in there, and there's, from what you say, how you say it, the story you tell, the trance you put them in, how can you quite literally guarantee that they throw money at you and beg you to buy it? How do I switch flip the script? Like you start begging me to buy it. Well, you can do that. And that's what they pay me for. They teach me to show them this skill set. And I show it to them at the highest level. Like a lot of people say they could do it. A lot of people sound cool. A lot of people could share stories. Their YouTube channel sounds cool. I've done the application. No one else has done the amount of reps I've done, at least in civilian, like population, like regular people or in corporate, environments. No one has had the reps that I've had. Yeah, I'm 26, but that's all I've been doing since I'm 15 years old.
Wow.
So my experience is very high. And because of that experience, I'm able to see things people don't see. I could literally see how underslept someone is, what vitamins they're lacking. I could see if they have a copper, like for example, if someone has too much copper in their blood, they're gonna have something called Kaiser Fleischer rings in their eyes. And the outside of their eyes are gonna have this brownish, like copper color, like these rings on the outside of your eyes, which means you either probably have an IUD, a copper IUD, or you're not really health averse. And then I'll look at the rest of your body and it's like, well, oh yeah, they're kind of fat. Oh yeah, they probably don't take care of themselves that much. Oh, their hygiene's a little bit bad. So you can create a profile of someone very quickly. Now, if I just go on your social media and I just see the words you use, what if I just parrot those words to you before you know anything? I didn't do that here, but you can easily stack the deck and do a few things that are easy that anyone can do, and suddenly everyone likes you. Now, what if you take that up like another level, which is you do some things that no one's aware of and no one knows how to do, but they're also pretty easy to apply. Well, now they like you more. Now, what if you do things that take some time to master, but if you're able to do that, you can influence anyone. What if you could literally trigger the right emotions? Like, if I ask you about a day, here's something pretty complicated but pretty cool. If I ask you about a time where you bought something that you really wanted, like maybe a car, or like something really expensive, you're like, fuck it, I'm buying it, I don't care, fuck it.
My car.
Okay, great. And then I touch my face a certain way, but I get you excited about it. You're telling me the story, and I see the moment, the window where you're at the peak emotion, and I anchor it, or I set this trigger. I then fire off that trigger.
Or like if you touch their shoulder.
Yeah, you touch you, or I touch my face, I look at you with my eyebrows, something subtle. And I do that 3 or 4 more times.
About the car.
About the car, about other emotions like maybe love. I mix it in with a few other emotions. And then I do that same thing to you. And I put you in a great mood. And then I talk about what I'm selling you. Well, on top of all the other layers that I'm doing, I'm stacking the deck to make sure you say yes. Like, one of these things would probably get you to say yes. What if you could do 50 things to make you to say yes? So that's what I teach them.
Have you written a book on this?
Not on this.
How to Influence People should be the title of it.
I mean, I have a book about, psychology. It's a bestseller, actually. It's called Unlock Your Mind.
Oh my God, fucking amazing. We're putting the link below to that.
Yeah.
Everybody wants it already.
Yeah, so there's a lot of study. I pretty much talk about studies. I'm not really talking about my skill set. I'm just talking about, here's a study, and here's a real life example of it. And, that's like the Milgram experiment or things like that. So anyways, I have another book coming out, which is about frameworks for relationships. Like, how do you make a relationship work? And it's just frameworks. Like, it's just literally like a owner's manual on how to make these things work, which is funny. But the persuasion stuff I teach at seminars. Like, if you want to actually learn from me at that level, come to a seminar or, my mastermind.
You have your own seminars?
I do seminars 4 days in a row, 12 hours a day. I'm literally the only speaker usually.
I love that because it's your thing.
Yeah, and I don't really, ironically, people don't invite me on their stages that often. I mean, I do get invited.
You don't fucking need it. You have your own world. That's how I found you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I didn't have like a shortcut. I had to build everything. So I had to learn. At my original seminars, I was doing the camera. I was running the fucking music. I was filling the room. I'd walk up to people on the street, start a candid conversation, and somehow get them to buy a ticket to my seminar.
Wow.
And do it every day, just repeat it. Like, I was able to do all of this just on my own. So I understand how to build it from zero to whatever. And by the way, those of you watching, you're like, oh, your parents must have a lot of money. Yeah, they did. And then they lost it all in 2008. We're fucking homeless. And then I had to go make it back myself. So I just want to say, like, if you're watching this and you don't think you're gonna make a lot of money, or you can't change your life, change happens right now. I always say change happens now. If you want to turn your life around in an instant, all you got to do is change your mindset. If you change your mindset, your life changes instantly. Every time anyone has ever made more money, or you've somehow found a partner, or you've somehow gotten in better shape, I bet you could trace it back to a fucking moment where you had a breakthrough and your brain goes, oh shit, you know what? And then you change a program in your brain and you make more money.
100%. 100% every single time.
So how do you take more of those moments, and instead of having 1, 2, or 3 in your life, or maybe 1 or 2 a year, or 1 or 2 a month, how do you have 1 or 2 a day so you accelerate your progress to your goals?
Well, I just get in my car and go and listen to really loud music, just raise my vibe and get on the phone to people, and then boom.
But that's because you already have it. What if
Yeah.
someone doesn't have it? Then what? What if someone doesn't have that skill set to where they could just change their emotions?
Energy drinks?
No, they got to reprogram their brain. They got to
they
change
have
their
to.
beliefs. Like, if you grew up and your parents are constantly lowering your self-esteem, you don't feel good. You've been to your therapist for 7 years, nothing's changed. You've tried this, you've tried that, it hasn't worked out. What do? I snap my fingers and I change your life. That's exactly what I do. So that's the main.
Yo, I could do this for hours. This is amazing. Okay, I wanted to do a hypnotherapy thing with you, but I feel like we could do it off camera and then I'll tell you guys how.
How many times do you have guests on? Once?
No.
Oh, really? Why don't we
Yeah.
do a part 2 where I literally only talk about hypnosis?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
That way people who don't know you should subscribe or follow you
Yeah.
and wait for the next one.
Oh my God, this is so good. We're gonna do an entire session on hypnosis.
And I'll teach people how to literally. I could teach. Maybe I shouldn't teach this, but okay.
Yeah, just say it.
I'll teach you how to make anyone you meet fall in love with you in 30 seconds.
Okay, we're about to do this off camera. We're gonna do it on the next show. Oh my God, this is so good. Marcel, you're one of my favorite guests I've ever had.
Really? Thank you.
No, honestly, I'm like amazing. I know it
appreciate
because
it.
I know when she goes in a trance about it too. I'm like, yeah, it's not just me. This is
appreciate
so good. We love you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
We're gonna put your link below to your Instagram. People can find you and your book. Where else do they want to find them, or just there?
I mean, honestly, that's perfect. YouTube is if you really if you're into this stuff and you want to really, really learn more, my YouTube channel is just probably the coolest YouTube channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
But there's a specific niche that follows me. And that niche is usually really, really rich. Like the billionaires, I went to Andrea Bocelli, his house, last thing before everyone ends. I went to his house in Italy this past summer for a fundraiser. I got more people recognizing me there. Like, my table, just to show you the caliber. I was sitting at a table with the CEO of Chanel and her husband, the owner of the New Orleans Pelicans and New Orleans Saints,
Oh my God.
the biggest lawyer in the entire country. That's my table. That's my whole table. I'm sitting with them. Every celebrity you can think of is there. I was getting recognized more than some of these celebrities were getting recognized.
Because of your YouTube.
Well, because I have no fucking idea. But I guess, when you're at the top, you're looking for control. Like, you want more control of your mind and more influence. Like, you've kind of realized.
I get it.
Like, you realize your mindset's what got you there, and you're probably going to look for whoever's the best at helping people change their mindset. So that's why I just thought it was really humbling, that experience. I was like, wow, that's fucking awesome. Like, it was confusing. Like, have I met you before? Oh, I've been watching you for a few years. I've been doing this. I'm like, wow. So
I get it.
very,
Randomly,
very cool.
all over the place. I walk into a theme park, people crying. I walk outside, they cry like, you've changed my life, you know, because I do something from the core, like an emotional breakthrough.
Well, you're real. You're actually the coolest podcast person ever been. Like, I feel like I'm having a regular conversation.
That's me, because I'm fucking real and I'm different. I'm the fucking best at what I do. Like, my show is fire because I'm so real. Like, when people are too passive, I'll just have to cut the show. I'm like, I honestly can't do anything or move this because it's like, I'm asleep. You know, if I'm not spiced, there's an issue.
Well, then they're not going to be spiced either. Yeah, I mean, I could tell just based on how you are, your audience is for sure awesome.
Yeah. The audience, they're going to love you. Oh my God. Well, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in today. My name is Natasha Graziano. This is Marczell Klein. Links are below. Go buy the book. I mean, Jesus, there's so much to learn from this guy. Go follow him. Find out everything you need to. Book him. And if you're on that $1 million mark, you can book him for the top level shit. But he'll teach you how to do everything we spoke about in the show and more. See you next time.